listener says, seems to me there was a tea party in Boston that was illegal, too.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
We shall seek to establish and maintain a dollar which will not change its purchasing and debt-paying power during the succeeding generation.
As anguished shrieks rose up from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
Government credit and government currency are really one and the same thing. A reserve of gold and a small reserve of silver.
So, and I said, well, what if it does happen? And he says, well, price will solve everything. I said, thanks, give me the gold. You know?
Why do central banks hold it? Well, it's a form of reserves. So why don't they hold diamonds? Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
Well, some people still think it's money.
Welcome back to the Junius Maltby Channel. You are live for the extemporaneous ramblings of a madman broadcasting live and unscripted from the bunker here somewhere on the planet. We have some news pulled up for all of you, discussion points, breaking news perhaps. We'll just do the week in review. I'll check in with the friends, members of the channel that are in the side chat, have been there patiently waiting. We did start about a minute late. I said 7:45. I think it was Pacific time or Mountain time. I don't know what I set the time to, but it was 3/4 past the hour. So we're a minute late. I apologize. I was actually topping off my tea before I got started. So welcome. Good to see all of you. There's some good familiar faces here in the chat, channel members, people who've been on this channel from far back. I believe I lose track. You'd think I'd have it memorized. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly the year that we started. I think it was 2013, 2012. Obviously, if you've been on this channel for a long time, you know I was doing this a lot longer than that. However, the channel was born out of the desire to discuss these topics with others because there were so few in the real world that were even remotely interested. But that is changing, my friends. It is changing in a way that brings me some joy, makes me happy. And that's why I titled this video The Sound Money Awakening, because it looks like it's taking place. Don't want to have like some premature early hope, false hope, but I'm seeing it a lot more in discussion threads, forums, comments, every bit of social media that I happen to stumble into when I wish to expose myself to that dribble. There are people making videos and discussing the history of the gold standard, how much gold there is in the world. I mean, I've seen video after video this week, people discussing the evils of the Fed. I've got some that I pulled up here, just a few. There's a couple that I really wanted to share. One of them was just a very philosophical view that I think many of you already know, could articulate yourselves very easily, and we've discussed it on this channel for, again, over a decade, and then some. So we'll be getting into some of those links, but the point of it is, one of you covered it actually in a comment earlier. He said that, whose comment was that, discussing sportsbasketball, saying that they hope that tonight's topic would be sportsbasketball. As you know, that is a running joke here on the channel because, of course, you can talk about all of these things. We could bring up all of the facts, point the populace into the direction of things to come, and typically the reaction that you will get very commonly is, let me get it on the screen here for you, because I am, as you know, my own engineer, my own everything. I have to do all the technology here. I'm not a big podcast. I don't have anyone to pull this stuff up for me, so I got to do it myself. But here you go. You'll see this gentleman here. You know, you've been in this conversation. Everybody's had this conversation. We just got done with Thanksgiving, right? How many of you brought things like this up around the dinner table and you just, man, that's crazy. Catch the game last night, or did you catch the game currently? They're watching the game, man. That's more important than what's happening. I mean, who cares if there's this generational theft of labor and value? The purchasing power of your savings is being destroyed, burned, eroded, debased, devalued. The theft, the hidden theft of that invisible tax called inflation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, most people don't see it. They don't care. They care about the consequences, but they don't want to see the cause. They don't want to root it out. So real quick shout out here to some super chats that just came in. Thank you very much. I got Jiffy Pistol saying, hey, Junius, Darren here. I was wondering when we would hear from you. It looks like that silver sword is striking at last. How is yours holding up? It is striking, and we're seeing it right this very moment daily. We'll check the prices here tonight. I didn't even check them logging in. I actually forgot it was a Sunday evening and the markets are open. So there is price activity taking place. We can see futures and global trade. And you'll see different prices quoted. Of course, there's the delivery and this and that. And so you'll see kind of differences from site to site, but it'll give us a picture, an idea of what silver and gold are doing tonight. And TX Tractor, wow, huge shout out. Very much appreciate such a generous gift to the channel and super chat such as that, my friend. Thank you for keeping the lights on, keeping the equipment updated. I appreciate it. Helping me pay the power bill to run these two screens and this mic. Thank you, my friend. Always appreciated. So good to see all of the channel members. I've got Silver J56, TX Tractor Life in here. Who else? We got AGOG 47. Mark Gutierrez, good to see you, good friend. Wielding a wrench. AGOG. I got Ray Finkel, channel member in the chat. JJ Stacken. Who else am I missing here? Who am I missing? Clatre, you've been here forever. Raquel, you've been here forever. Not members right now. That's okay. Still love you. And I got Napalm Death. You've been here forever as well, man. Good to see you, Winter Haven Farm. There's so many of you. James Richter's here. So many friends. Tom Manley, good to see you. Welcome. EW Fisher 89, channel member. Man, you've been here for a while. You got the gold coin. The Italian Pepe, good to see you as well. Abitabai, good to see you, good friend. Hope you're safe and well wherever you are overseas, my friend. Wherever you are at this moment. Barbara Strelick, good to see you. LFG, let's go. We're on the way. Paul S. 6677, good to see you, my friend. Chad, good to see you, Chad. And that's Chad 8368. Good to see you. So we've got all of you in here, and it's growing. More channel members showing up as the clock ticks. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too insulting, but I could. I mean, I could go off on the sports football fans. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't think I've ever watched a full and complete football game in my life from beginning to end. I've caught snippets here and there. I've been invited to a friend's house where I politely obliged and ate some food, and there was something on in the background, a bunch of guys in helmets colliding into each other with about 8 minutes of play over the course of about 3 hours. Not too into it, but it is there, and it keeps the masses entertained. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained by the sports football when it's on the television and the advertisements? Are you buying what they're telling you to buy? You should be. Be a good peasant. Be a good peasant. Now, this is the reality. This is a scene that a friend of mine actually shared with me recently, and I had to save it. It's one that I hadn't seen before. This is a Russian soldier burning useless Soviet banknotes for warmth in Chechnya, 1995. You can see the ground there littered with fiat notes, some of them bundled. If those were US dollars, USD, each one of the tiny little stacks would be approximately $10,000 if they were hundreds. So you would have, well, hundreds of thousands of dollars laying about, keeping this gentleman warm. And it's a scene we've seen repeated throughout the course of even the last century frequently. It's happened hundreds of times. I've shared this with you, images such as this, stories such as this on this channel over its life. We've viewed the fiat graveyard that I have put out on the table for you and showed you all of the different notes that once circulated that held value for somebody, somewhere, at some point in history, that are no longer worth anything. Couldn't buy you even a crumb, not even a tablespoon of flour to make one little tiny biscuit. Nothing. They're worthless. That's the ultimate end for all fiat. And people are starting to make this connection in this awakening. you're seeing discussions on this very subject from demographics far younger than myself, and people discussing the fact that the dollar is no longer what it was, that it's not pegged to anything of value, that people can print it off and rob us of our labor, rob us of our savings. And rightfully so, many in the population that are awakening to this just now are becoming furious, angered by this truth. And it's our job now, as people who have been doing this for a while, not to say, I told you so, or hey, we've been doing this forever. We knew this long before you did, because there's a temptation there. There is. I get it. I feel it. There's that temptation that, what do you know? I've been stacking metals since before you were born. Well, they can't help the timeline they were born in, and good job on you for stacking before they were born. Now, mentor them, coach them, show them some books, send them articles, guide them along the way, make them more radicalized. Your job is to radicalize more people. That sounds frightening. It sounds disturbing even, but I encourage it. Radicalize more people. Get them on this. Get them furious. Feed them. Stoke the flames of anger. Add fuel to their hatred of the state. Kindle it within them so that it burns, so that the flame overwhelms all of them and around them so that they spread it. And the flame leaps from human to human, heart to heart. And the hatred for the state becomes a conflagration, and it burns the system to the ground. That's how we do it. That's how we have to do it. The movement of ideas. So recruiting more into this, getting them involved, getting them awake to it. I was impressed. One of the influences of realizing this awakening is taking place is you would think that Tucker Carlson, as, tapped into or plugged into things and the news cycle and history, someone who at least is exposed to so much, would have a better understanding of this. And it seems like he did a podcast recently with a gold company. I've got them pulled up, actually. And I believe we have visited their site prior to his involvement with Battalion Metals. But I listened to that brief podcast. I think it was about an hour long, 40 minutes, maybe something like that, where they discussed a lot of the topics. They got some of the dates wrong, the gentleman speaking. However, that's no big deal. I've done that. I've done that hundreds of times. I make that mistake. I can't memorize every single date and fact and keep them orderly. I'm just not autistic enough, or maybe my brain is aged and shrinking. However, the material that they discussed was very, very good. And there's a large audience, much larger than the small channel here, of people that were then exposed to this awakening of sound money and good places to buy metals from. I'll raise a point there in a minute. Let me just interrupt with Ray Finkel. Huge thank you for your super chat, my friend. He goes, I believe the official narrative about the CME data centers overheating causing the silver spot price to run up. You do believe it? Okay, yeah. I know you're joking. That's great sarcasm. I've got that article pulled up, Ray, so you beat me to it. We'll talk about it. And yes, I posted that the other day, and that is an excuse they're using. I don't buy it. I don't believe the official narrative on anything anymore. Everything they tell us typically is a lie. They are the professionals at bearing false witness. JJ Stacken just sent out 5 Junius Maltby gift memberships. So now we have 5 people here in the chat that are now members. So if you're a new member to the channel, you have access to hundreds of videos that are invisible to the public. So take the time after this video closes out and go search the archives, and you'll find some of the more hardcore material archived away, hidden from public view. So thanks for the handing those out, JJ Stack, and good for you, man. Gifted memberships. Always appreciate that type of recruitment. That's what it's about. You guys are great. But the discussion on Tucker's podcast recently was good. It was spreading the word. It almost touched on similar videos. If you remember in the past, I made videos on where and where not to buy precious metals from over the years. Over the last 12 years, I've made maybe 2 or 3 videos on that subject, trying to help people. And one of the tidbits that I added years ago was, hey, Here's a tip for you. Just an easy one. If you hear the advertisement for for gold or silver or precious metals, and you hear it on AM radio or any conservative talk show, Fox News, any broadcast, avoid it. Those are the companies you avoid. They're theft. They don't do it right. He talks about it and exposes them very well on how they rip off the elderly, the marking up of bullion, the delivery issues, and then how people get stuck paying far more, 50% more, 100% premium sometimes on coins. So they're just not getting as much metal as they could, and they're essentially underwater for a very long time on their purchases. And he's trying to avoid that, so the company that they are starting and associating with, this Battalion Metals, is doing it much more honestly when it comes to offering metals to people. So check it out. It's good. I'll bring them up here on the screen. And if you do purchase from, say, hey, I heard about you from and I'm not affiliated. They don't even know who I am. It'd be great. I would love to support them, promote them, and let them know that I have sent people their way just because of I believe what they're doing is a good thing. So there's no compensation here. They don't know I exist. I'm not even on their radar. Guarantee it. But if you do say, hey, I heard about you from the Junius Maltby Channel, man. He told me to buy some metal from you because you guys are doing it right. I can tell you right now, it's where I'm going to do my next metals purchase from. That's me, personally. That's what I'm going to do. And again, they don't have contact with me. I don't have any companies that come to me and say, hey, can you put a plug in for us, man? No, that's just not how it works. I don't care enough. And for them to advertise or sign any contract, I'm not going to do that. It's not my thing. So there's no affiliations here, no rewards for that type of thing. But they sound like a good group, and I think what they're doing, I'll pull up their prices later. I actually sent it to a friend last week, and he was reviewing some of the prices, looking at just what the markup was on certain coins, and it looks reasonable compared to some other places. So check it out. Now, let me just play this piece for you because I think it's important. This is here. This is a, what is his name again? Gosh, dang it. You guys know who he is. Come on. I forget. He's often featured with some pretty hardcore material, and it's good stuff. Entertaining. Sam Hyde. I don't know why his name's I missed his name just now. Here you go. Listen to this, though.
If somebody punches you in the face, that's an immediate wrong against you that's tangible, and you know that this person means you harm, and they're not good, right? If I abstract away the immediacy of a fist in your face and physical violence happening to you right now, and I make it, let's just say I make it so that the currency that you trade, by the way, do you know what you trade for money? You trade your time, which is your life's blood. Right. So to some people, money's the root of all evil. I understand that. Money's like cryptocurrency. There are parasitic ways to make money, but if you're a regular person, if you're working your ass off, if you have more than one job, if you have a family to feed, you're trading your time and your life's blood, your energy, what you have, what you've been given here on this earth, everything that you've been given, you're trading it for money so that you can use it to pay for rent, food, shelter, whatever, everything else, right? Yeah. And so if I make it so that this thing that you trade your life's for is worth half as much by printing more of it, by directly taxing you, the twin grist mills of taxation and inflation, I'm stealing from you your life. I am vampirically stealing from you your life. I understand. Is that worse than a punch in the face?
I think it's the worst thing you could do.
Okay. So
there you go. Very, very poetic discussion there on this. It's a very simple way of explaining how the assault, the robbery, how you and we are not in a consensual relationship with those who cause inflation. They do it by their will, by edict. They're not even elected officials. A lot of people don't understand that. And I've seen a lot of clips where people talk about the Federal Reserve as if it was a government agency or institution, which it is not. It is not federal. That's just their name. There's federal as Federal Express, and they have no reserves. And a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize private banking families are involved. It's not as it seems, this relationship. And I've shared with you excerpts from The Creature from Jekyll Island over the years and the founding of the Fed. And there's tons of articles you can get that are more summarized than that. But as people are waking up to this and realizing their labor and their savings, their life force is being robbed by these agents of economic destruction, these liars, these bearers of false witness, in every way, these evildoers. I mean, you've seen the news cycles over the last just 3 or 4 years to see how, and these people are despicable, deviant, degenerate. They're the ones robbing us. And as James Richter just put it, as we've said on this channel for years now, we are in a non-consensual, abusive relationship with the state. And that's why it is our job to cause others to become furious, to infuriate others at this truth, awaken them, kindle the flames of hatred for the state and what they're doing. It is happening nationwide now. It's happening on social media. People are realizing and seeing in real time prices rising, their wages stagnant, their currency not going as far, the fiat that they carry or that they have as electronic digits manifesting on the screen of their phone or in their account, just not doing what it used to do, not being able to buy as much red meat or grain or food. We've seen it. And thank you, James, for that comment, and thank you for that super chat as well. And what are we seeing? One of the biggest indicators, one of the things we've followed on this channel for years now, one of the main indicators has always been gold and silver priced in the U.S. dollar, the fiat, that fractional reserve banking note, that leper currency. We've been following those prices and using them as kind of an indication of what's going on with the economy. You and I know that an ounce of gold is worth an ounce of gold, an ounce of silver is worth an ounce of silver. And the price of those metals isn't truly the thing that's changing. It's the debasement, the devaluation, the worthlessness, and the decline of the dollar that's causing those real asset prices to increase. And how many of those dollars are required to acquire or take possession of those assets, gold and silver. And because of the weakening of the dollar, because of the inflation, the increase of that money supply over time that we have witnessed, we have seen metals now react. And we knew it was going to be delayed, and now it is starting to awaken and bubble. And like a volcano, it's getting ready to possibly erupt. And we're seeing disturbances throughout the metals markets recently. I read somewhere, I can't quote the exact amount, but I heard that for every dollar silver moves, the big banks on Wall Street like JP Morgan and HSBC and some of those guys, I don't know all the names, I don't know which ones, but apparently they're losing billions per dollar. I mean, it's billions of dollars they're losing as silver's going up. So they're starting to feel it. There's delivery demands taking place. I don't know how much supply they have. I don't know how long they can fake this. I don't know how long the charade, the paper to silver contract ratios, I don't know how long that plays out. I just can't tell you that. I don't know if anybody knows. I don't even think the guys that are the big experts that are running the big silver bullion places and depositories and those that are even more, that are closer to that market, I don't know if they even know exactly when it just goes off the rails. Because it appears to you and I like, hey, these prices are getting crazy. We're seeing $57, $58 tonight on silver. We're seeing gold at what, 42, almost 4,300 tonight. And we'll get to the prices here live in a minute. But we see a post here from Weimar Silver Baron on, this was X. And I just shared this with myself from a screenshot that I had that I wanted to put up here. So this is the, he's reposting another post from a guy named Steve Nisler. It says, my imperfect understanding, COMEX has about 5,000 tons. COMEX AP is standing for delivery of 12,400 tons by the end of December 25th. And recent Chinese exchange data and market commentary indicate the SHFE silver warehouse stocks have fallen below roughly 600 metric tons, about 19 million troy ounces, one of the lowest levels on record for the exchange. Apparently the lowest was around 2015, reflecting heavy exports and local tightness. Chinese exports of silver recently surged to more than 660 tons in a single month. 660 tons exported to LBMA in a month. COMEX needs about 7,000 tons by the end of December. So who knows? Again, I don't know where this ends up because they talk a lot of numbers and they bounce around. You get a lot of different quotes, but hey, how about that game last night? How about the game last night? Did you catch it? You catch the game, the sports ball? Here was another one breaking. The Fed quietly injected $125 billion into the U.S. banking system, marking its largest short-term liquidity move since the 2020 COVID-19 crisis. The Fed quietly hit the money printer again. This is 3 days old, so this might have been 4 or 5 days ago. Yesterday, the Federal Reserve injected $125 billion into the U.S. banking system, the largest short-term equity boost since the 2020 COVID crash. No press conference, no headlines, just a massive drip of emergency liquidity flowing into the system before markets even noticed. When the Fed does this, it's usually because something behind the scenes is cracking. Funding stress, collateral pressure, banks scrambling for overnight cash. But to the market, liquidity is gasoline. And right now, J-Pow is out here celebrating like he didn't just plug a $125 billion hole in the financial system. So the money printer is going burr again. Assets are going to go up, and Jerome's going to be dancing. I won't play this because it's probably got copyrighted music and they'll block the video, but there was some video to this link as well. Now, this is the discussion on the global futures reopening after the exchange operator CME suffered multi-hour disruption. And I posted this in the post on the wall there for the channel about as live as I could. I think I saw this and then about an hour later I had it up on the wall for the channel for you guys to see and that this was taking place. And many of you are aware and were in tune with this that day when this took place, November 29th. But apparently, gold future markets were disrupted for several hours. So silver was running. It was like $2 or $3 up on the day when this took place. And then the world's largest exchange operator mysteriously and suddenly suffered one of its longest outages in years. For some reason, I don't know if it was a coincidence. I was just noticing this, but you'll tend to see a lot of coincidences when you notice things. And so this hasn't happened in years, and suddenly there was an outage, and it halted trading across stocks, bonds, and commodities like silver and gold and currencies. By 1:30, trading on the exchange and stocks and bond futures, as well as other products, had resumed after having been knocked out for over 11 hours. So an 11-hour outage took place. And they're going to play it off like it was just technological glitch. Now, do you believe that? Do you really believe there's a technological glitch or they had some outage? Did someone trip over a cord? Was there some derelict stumbling through the CME warehouses? Did he knock over a server or spill his coffee on a keyboard? Let's get to the bottom of this. What really happened? You think there will ever be a congressional hearing? You think so? You think they'll ever pull him up and ask them, Mr. CME, we would like to ask you a question on why the power went out on the trading of the silvers. What is it that you would say happened there that caused all of the silver trading to halt for 11 hours? You're never going to hear them pulled up. They're never going to go to Congress and have to talk about this. Nobody cares. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. They're just going to look the other way because it's the threat. It's truly what's happening because it's breaking down. And if you look at silver prices today, at this moment in time, now this is on CNBC. We see silver's quoted at 58.08, up 91 cents, 1.6%. We've got gold up 21 bucks, 42.75. This is, again, these are the CNBC quotes. We go to goldprice.org. We've got, for some reason, they've got silver just sitting at 56.87. I'll refresh it. Not as up to date on the CNBC, but again, CNBC might be for futures delivery or different price point quoted. However, it's showing 58 bucks. And it's a big indicator there. If you look at silver Silver COMEX, March 26, commodities exchange, $58.09. That's your quote right now. I mean, that's just to see 58, just to see those numbers painted on the screen is it's big news for some people. It's vindication, as one of you put it earlier in the chat. This is definitely vindication, definitely validation for all that you have fought for, all that you've believed and done, and all that you've hunkered down for. Those of you who built yourselves a metal bunker to weather the economic bombardment of the artillery shells that come at you of inflation, trying to just destroy your wealth, destroy what you've worked for. You've hidden away in your metal bunkers, and you are now surviving it better than some. Because think about a lot of people that are waking up. Imagine, I've actually painted this scenario for you in the past. Imagine you woke up right now. Just for a moment, pretend it's hard, but pretend you didn't know any of the things that you knew prior to tonight. You didn't know, you weren't paying attention, you were that guy asking people if they caught the game last night. You were asleep. You were ignorant of the Fed, the ever-eroding and devouring serpent of inflation. And then today you woke up and you told you knew everything you know now, like a light bulb, like a switch was thrown. But you had no metals. You were not prepared. You had cash, perhaps, some savings. You're working your job. You're making ends meet. You're trying to. And then you realized what was taking place. Think of what you would do. What would you do? Well, you would probably scramble. You would try to arrange things in a way in which you could acquire metals as soon as possible before the doors closed. Like I've told you in the past, like musical chairs. When the music stops, are you going to have a chair to sit in? A silver chair or a gold chair or both? Because the music could be winding down, and like a game of musical chairs, when it stops, everyone's got to sit down. And when you don't have a chair, you don't get to sit down, you lose the game. You're out. So I would imagine that a lot of the people that are out there, the public, the masses, that are part of this sound money awakening, as you see these clips circulating everywhere from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok and all of these other places. Podcasts are discussing it. Influencers are discussing it like they just discovered it, like they've stumbled upon some new hidden truth, something that was hidden that nobody knew about. Not realizing that for decades there were articles on places like Lou Rockwell or Silver Bear Cafe, the Austrian School of Economics, and von Mises and Mises.org. These guys were writing paper after paper. Guys like Professor Antal Fouquet ringing the church bells to awake people to this. Like Paul Revere writing through the town. The British are coming, throwing leaflets, urging people to come out and fight, to rebel against this fiat empire. People are waking up. People are waking up. And the thing is, not just the lay people, I would imagine. There are definitely individuals out there of significant means that have large positions of capital that they are now most likely moving into metals or a portion into metals. Those decisions are being made at this very moment. Now, I've shared with you on this channel over the last several years that we were observing and witnessing some of the largest physical deliveries and demands for delivery of precious metals by the ultra-wealthy in decades. And it was happening. It was a theme that was carrying through. It was being reported. There were numbers being reported. Some of those stories were out there over the last several years. But that was happening. Central banks were gobbling it up. And we have seen kind of a move where metals were being hoarded out of existence. What's happening? And prices are definitely indicating that that is taking place. And again, just to show you how long this fight's been being waged. Recently, being someone who was interested in history and wanted some history, but also some entertainment, and I was curious. We watched it was more of a dramatic biography on James Garfield. Of course, it was littered with, Netflix garbage within it, but I think it was even a Netflix show. But I went off and did some side research on this brief president of the United States, just reading a little bit more of what he made him who he was, what he believed. And lo and behold, I had never read, I don't recall, quotes by James Garfield on the subject. But here you go, the currency conflict. Coin of ascertained weight and fineness, duly stamped and authenticated by the government, is the only safe standard of money. And no form of credit currency is safe unless it be convertible into coin at the will of the holder. James Garfield. Isn't that phenomenal? He was, by the way, deleted by people. I wonder how or why exactly. If that played any part of it, I don't want to get too conspiratorial. Sounds like a schizo took him out. But, it's just interesting that a man that believed that and had a quote like that was taken before. Well, he was only president for several months, and he was eliminated. And then I did some further research on his opposition to paper currency schemes. And as a congressman, he was a vocal critic of schemes that would convert the U.S. Treasury into a manufactory of paper money, unquote. He believed this would give too much control over the nation's finances to political parties in the House and Senate. Does that sound familiar to anybody here? Anyone? Does that sound familiar? Does that ring any bells for you? He supported for a sound metallic-backed currency. He advocated for currency backed by both gold and silver, a stance known as bimetallism, which was a significant issue in the post-Civil War era. He was also wary of extremes of centralized government control, Caesarism, as it was called, and an over-reliance on local sovereignty, favoring a balanced approach to governance. His opposition to a politically controlled paper currency was consistent with his view, as he saw it as an overreach of central power into the nation's financial affairs. So these ideas have been around, and it's a war that we lost back then. The founding of the Fed was the defeat of sound money. It was the defeat of those that opposed that centralized control over an economy. And all of the things, all of the warnings, all of the consequences of that type of a move, of a Federal Reserve-like system that we experienced, have come true. Everything that the people that were in opposition to it had argued and stated, written about for decades, even a century or more, a century and a half, all of it has come to pass. And now, because people are used to it, just because it's the thing that we're used to, because we were born into it, it's the way it's always been, people are afraid of change. It's funny because they are the conservatives. They don't want to let go of what is and what was. They don't want to experience a revolution in finance, a financial revolution, an economic revolution. They don't want to turn it off. Realize that this Federal Reserve experiment failed. It doesn't work, and it needs to stop by whatever means necessary. And those who caused it should be the ones to pay the price. The population should not suffer. Their money should be made to be strong again. Dollars should be pulled from circulation, should be redeemable for metals. And they need to open the vaults to gold and silver again. Will it happen? I doubt it. Is there another system coming in place? Are they going to burn this down, crumble it, collapse it to where something else is ushered in? It's likely. What is the question? What? I don't know. I don't think anybody can truthfully answer that with any certainty. I myself don't know. I don't think any of you have the answer to what they're going to replace it with. We have ideas. I mean, we definitely have our theories, what they're going to try to do, what they might attempt. All kinds of theories out there. Here is the page I was telling you about, though. This is Battalion Metals. I told you I'd show you the prices here because they weren't that bad. I mean, if you're looking at silver at $58, $57 for spot, we all know there's a seigniorage charge, there's the minting, the handling, the purification, the assaying. So you're never, I should not have to explain to anybody who's been on this channel for any length of time the difference between spot prices and then what you're actually going to pay. Please. None of you are buying London Good Delivery bars, so don't expect to pay spot for gold. And none of you are buying 1,000 ounce or like 5,000 ounce COMEX bars of silver. So that now that that's established, we can finally say you're not going to buy any of this metal for spot. There's going to be a little bit above that, but this price $62.46 for Silver Eagles looks pretty good. 1 ounce Canadian maples, pretty good. So the 1 ounce Gold Eagles $43.94, looking good. So they've got some good prices. You know, if you just go to silver, if you're not buying Eagles, there's a lot of good silver on here for what I consider to be reasonable prices, especially $60 for like these Krugs here. You've got 10 ounce bars for $5.96. I can't believe that. I can't believe I'm seeing a 10 ounce bar for $5.96 right now on the screen. Are you looking at that? These Nordic Raven bars. But as you can see, their prices look good. They are deliverable. They'll deliver these things right to you. I'll just drop a link in the chat for anyone who's interested. Again, they don't know I exist. I'm a nobody. This is a channel of, 200 people that view live, or 132 of you view these. So, again, not making a dent or a mark in this. This isn't going to be a big thing for them. But they look good. You know, I do like the fact that Tucker is involved. It's a good interview if you catch it. I did post it in the sidebar of the community chat here on the channel, so it should be available to anyone who's scrolling through that. And it's still up there on the post wall. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is something that, seeing it on podcasts in the last week, there has been a significant uptick. I think many of you have noticed it as well, this awakening. And it makes sense that prices are moving and that people are paying attention, because it's obviously something that's being discussed. It's visible. People feel it. And a lot of people probably recall having heard conversations on this subject. Maybe you spoke with somebody 3 years ago. Maybe you sowed the seeds then of, hey, you know, this system is not the way it is that you think it is. Metal prices are going to move, and here's why. That individual, wherever they are, might be seeing metal prices or hearing these discussions and then remembering, oh, you know, E.W. Fisher, my friend, he spoke of this. Or J.J. Stacken, I had a conversation with him. I asked him how the game was, and he started talking to me about metals. And he went off on some autistic tangent on inflation and the Fed. But it's all making sense now. It's all happening. I can see it. He was right. Oh, man. And maybe they called you or they texted you. So it's happening. It's the reality we live in. This is the timeline. It's taking place. I mean, I can't believe when I go to the coinflation page, and I showed you this the other day, but it just keeps going up more and more, that a Morgan dollar, just a simple Morgan dollar that holds, if I'm not mistaken, what is it, 0.7 ounces of silver in each one? I believe so. Got all these stupid advertisements coming up on my screen. I am offended. Get the AI off my screen. 26.7 grams total. I believe it should show you. It used to tell you that was 0.73 or something like that. 0.773. If I'm not mistaken, I can't see it on there. But the fact that a Morgan dollar is now carrying $44 worth of silver is staggering to me. I mean, I remember, and all of you as well, when these things were only holding $15-16 worth of silver. Now they're 44. I mean, there was times you could buy a tube of slick Morgans that had almost no numismatic value whatsoever, and you were getting them for almost melt value. Places just, people called it junk silver, remember? I never liked to call it junk silver. I like calling it freedom silver, or, it's just coins. Previously issued, previously circulating. Real money. And now we're seeing, Merc dimes. A Merc dime's over $4, $4.13 in silver. $4.13 for one mercury dime. Many of you recall a Merc dime was $1 or less. The silver quarter is $10 now, $10.34, $10.35. Exactly, Paul. There is no silver that's junk. No silver qualifies as junk. It's not even appropriate to call it junk. Which reminds, what did they call it? I believe I just saw it on this page here. What do they call it? 90% silver U.S. quarters and dimes, pre-65, dollar face. So a dollar face is going for $40 on that battalion metals there. Yeah, they just call it, face value. Silver coins, 90% silver coins. 90%. Now I would like to go to the channel chat, just give you guys, before we close out, see if there's anything that was hanging heavy on your guys' minds. And other news, while we're waiting for that, I do think this is hilarious that, not that I'm the biggest fan, I just like that he's pissing off our enemies so much so that the Orange Man Bad, is, he's canceling, he's voiding all of Biden's auto pen. Apparently this is big news. Like 90% of the documents signed. I don't know if you guys saw this recently, but there's the picture, Biden's picture on the wall of presidents. It's just his auto pen. Nice little slam there. But those are all being repealed, which is great. It's infuriating the left. They're just losing their minds every single day. But again, both sides, Republicans and Democrats, have sold us down the road. Both practice their own levels of witchcraft and evil, and have robbed the population and committed heinous acts in foreign policy. Neither is our friends. Neither is on your side. Neither is looking out for your best interests. So as they fight, just sit back and enjoy the show. And as they tear each other apart, it's just, this is empire collapse behavior. This type of infighting, this type of behavior that you're witnessing. So it's entertaining. Again, we don't have a horse really in this race. Just sit back and let them chew each other apart. And I don't think there's a whole lot we can do to impact the outcome, honestly. A lot of people don't like that apathetic level of a position. But honestly, really, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? As they tear each other, as they rip each other's flesh from bone. As you enter the Twitter sphere, the X, the back and the forth, the insults and the comments, the echo chambers, nothing can be done. It's just going to go the way it goes. And as we've read in the past, like in Dying of Money, the momentum of inflation, as I pointed out a while ago on the hyperinflation discussion we shared one day, it's the train has left the station. The brakes have failed. It's on a downhill descent. Nobody's stopping it. This is going to go where it goes until it crashes or it runs out of track. And that's it. And all you can truly do is prepare for the different outcomes that might come from it and the different contingencies that we've discussed many times. So, that's really that. The empire, it's chewing itself apart. The economy, they're robbing the treasury, they're looting it as we speak. Doge has failed. They did nothing. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. There has been no changes. The swamp was never drained. If anything, has become more entrenched and stronger. Just different creatures inhabiting it. But anyways, my friends, I'll tell you that having this channel and having a group of you to discuss these things, these topics with, it's been good. Again, I've told you before, it's just almost been like therapy, not having to just keep it to myself, but having people to bounce it off of and discuss these things with. Is there any channel members in the chat that would like to raise a discussion point or a talking point or pull up an article that you've seen, a fact you've observed, something you've seen this week that's relevant to the discussions at hand? Anything in there? Let's see. Yeah, the Senate has to vote to investigate crimes now. That's not going to happen. Of course, yeah, they'll never investigate themselves. Dambra, I see your comment there. Yes, they're not going to. And everything that they talk about, that, oh, we're going to reveal this, or these files will be available, everything's being redacted. For national security reasons, they have to scrub certain names from certain lists. I don't see any news with certain Middle East allies, if you're talking about our greatest ally to extract your life. The greatest ally. Pager blows up. Yeah. You're not going to... That parasitic relationship will exist until the boomers go away and the evangelical pastors stop getting their paychecks. Hopefully you can stop tithing to them. If your church is pro-Israel, stop giving them money. That's a fact. Do it. Go give to widows and orphans yourself. Go support others. Give money. You don't have to tithe to your church. You can be the conduit. You can find other places to put that money. If God puts it on your heart to help others and to give money, there's places to go. There's ways of doing it. You don't have to give it to some pastor that speaks and he's a lapdog and a shill for Israel. There's no reason to. Silver may be the black swan, says Gregory Goose. Thanks for the super chat, Gregory Goose. It very well may be. And I wouldn't be surprised if it costs them so much money that it triggers some type of cataclysm in the economic engines of Wall Street. It would be very justified if that did occur. And I would love to see silver be the linchpin for them. Unknown Soldier says, the only point for me is to say thank you. I was that guy in 2022 who didn't realize the fiat on fire until I stumbled onto this channel. Keep it up, y'all. Why, thank you, Unknown Soldier. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found this channel back when you did. I appreciate that, and thanks for the kind words. It's always good to know that there's somebody in the comments that wasn't even here that long ago, 2022 only being 3 years ago, but you made it. You're here. And you stacked some medals. You're doing good. I appreciate it. Yeah. Winter Haven Farm Life says, wow, I never thought about it that way. The silver dime is the new $5 bill. It is. It's the new $5. Yes, noticing is antiseptic. Silver is antiseptic or anti-citrus. Metals, they're antiseptic. Because it's a direct threat to their engine, to their ability to print money and give money to their friends, their greatest allies, the war machine to buy bombs, to delimb children in third world nations. The fiat US dollar is what they use to wage war. I've shared articles with you on that in the past, right? Gold Wars by Professor Ferdinand Lips on how important fiat currency and the ability to issue it, the state's ability to just print, how important that is for them, for their war machine to wage their violence and destruction overseas. They have to have fiat to do that. Almost, it makes it so much easier for them, so much more efficient. Oh, the cash. I mean, you've seen the images. I just saw one recently. Pallets of cash still locked away that was sent overseas to buy favor, to pay off warlords. Used as weapons. Currency used as weapons in war zones all over the world. Meanwhile, you have to scramble. You can barely get health care. You have to cut back on the types of foods you eat. Maybe you're skipping red meat. Maybe you're buying chicken or fish. And less meat in general. More dried goods, pastas, things like that. People are truly making lifestyle changes as a result of a weakening, a depreciating, and a devaluing currency every single day. The dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power since 2013. 50%. And I believe this channel was founded in 2013. So in the life of this channel, over the life of this channel, let's just put it this way for you, for vindication and validation for those that are part of the Junius Maltby Channel here. If you were on this channel in 2013, since that time, the dollar has fallen 50%. And since that time, gold has essentially quadrupled in value, over 400%. Silver, similar movements. So we have made significant gains in our metals, shielding us from the losses in fiat. And yet, people still scoff. They still laugh. They call us gold bugs. But have you seen the gold bears? I mean, where are they? Where are the gold bears these days? Are they coming out? They used to be prevalent. They used to be in the comments. You'd see them. We'd do a video. They'd pop in on a live. They'd throw down some stuff. They'd throw comments on the videos when they were up. And they would just mock metal. They'd mock you. They'd mock me. Well, we beat the S&P. That's another established fact that's shocking people, blowing people's minds. The fact that gold devastated the S&P's performance over the last 20 years. So we have been validated. Dave Ramsey doesn't have a clue about metals. Not a single clue. Has no idea how the system works, money. He doesn't get it. We've called him out. We've made videos on how wrong he is. He'll never admit it. He'll never admit it with his little earpiece, his glasses, and his goatee, and his pompous, entitled, pretentious, condescending conversations he has with people. Not at all. He'll never, ever see it or observe it. He'll never wake up to it. Because he's completely attached to the system. He's plugged in. He's part of it. He's one of the NPCs in the Matrix. More like he's one of the bosses, you know. He's part of it. Part of the problem. And it's a shame because he probably steered many people away from metals because he would talk so negatively about them for so long. And not only would he disparage them, but he would talk people into selling their metal positions. People would call him and say, hey, I've got X amount of ounces of silver, X amount of gold. And Dave Ramsey would tell him to get rid of it immediately. Sell it. Get rid of it and do this and do that. He'd give them all kinds of advice. But the fiat dollar is melting. It's dwindling. It's in its death throes. And remember, gold and silver always survive. Fiat always dies. It's another one of the points this channel has always tried to make. For millenniums, for thousands of years, gold and silver have carried their value, preserved wealth, held it to this very day. And over that time, hundreds, if not thousands of fiat currencies have died, and not a single fiat has ever lived forever. The average lifespan being, 30 or 40 years, I think we've discussed. The U.S. dollar's true fiat state began in 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window and completely unpegged and severed its ties for foreign gold obligations. From that point forward, we've only seen metals rise. And that will only continue. They're not going to save the dollar. They're not going to pull out of the tailspin that it's in. Once you accept that and realize that, and you realize the economic laws and rules that are taking place, that are playing out, these forces, these immutable forces, these irrefutable facts of economics that some people fail to acknowledge and refuse to because it's uncomfortable. It's painful. It requires you to think of the world in a different way, through a different lens, to make changes. Some people can't handle it, so they don't. Well, you'll see. You're seeing it right now. It's taking place right now. And those of you who are on this channel and participated here have seen it. You get it. You're prepared for it. And that's good. I'm glad. if I've done anything, and if we've done anything as a team, you and I together, this cohort of individuals, if we've done it, we've helped awaken others to it. We've taken a lot of metal off the market as a group. We've created some type of a squeeze, a little bit. We've contributed to it. There's less silver out there. There's less physical silver available because you exist. You played a role. You were a combatant. You were an infantryman on this economic battlefield, and you waged war. And you're becoming victorious. You're taking ground. We have taken a lot of ground, if you think of where we came from. And they're losing ground. And they're losing billions because of it. Every ounce is another step forward. We raided them. We raided them hard. We were mocked for raids, ridiculed. But guess what? How are those premiums looking now? How are those raids nights looking from way back when it was in the 20s? When silver was half what it was here when you were raiding, 50% ago. You were buying silver half off during those raids. Well, you kicked ass. All of you. All of you deserve medals of honor in this economic war. You fought valiantly, and you continue to fight. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being part of the Army here. Thank you for being part of the Junius Maltby Channel. I will be signing off now this evening from this discussion. Hope that you gleaned something from it. But I appreciate each and every one of you being here and being part of this channel. Very much appreciated. Alrighty. Take care, my friends. Thank you for being part of the Junius Maltby Channel again, for tuning in, taking the time out of your evening to sit here. If you can, please hit the like button for the algorithms. Leave a comment down below. I don't remind you guys to do that enough. I don't know if you know how YouTube works, but it does help, apparently. That's what I'm told anyway. So hit the thumbs up down there if you like the video. Leave a comment down below. I know you commented in the chat here, but leave a real comment. Leave one down below. Leave your thoughts, share some things, discuss some points, maybe your experiences on the channel, favorite videos, whatever. Don't forget to go find the older videos. Like them as well. Share them. Send them to friends. Others that you're awakening to this. Find your favorite videos. Leave a comment on those. Let me know what videos you did like. They're out there. Go into the archives. Find them. All right, my friends. Thank you all for tuning in as always, and I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your nights, and I will see you again on the next one.